So, what is winter like in Canada? Well, in a word, it's cold. Wait, not that cold. Well, rarely. Canada is not as cold and miserable as you might think, particularly if you like snow sports. There's no getting around the fact that Canada gets proper winters, and if you don't enjoy colder weather, snow, and all that comes along with it, you might want to look for somewhere else to live.
If, like us, you love cold air, skiing, sledding, cosy evenings with friends and beautiful winter sunlight, the colder part of the year is wonderful in much of Canada. There are some parts of Canada where winter is basically something to be survived, but in much of the country it's something to be relished.
Winter sports are a big deal in Canada, with ice hockey being the national sport and something of a national obsession. Kids often start playing hockey, nobody says the ice bit here, not long after they learn to walk, and in addition to the 7 teams playing in the NHL, the top level professional league, most towns have their own local team, and these enjoy plenty of support. There are ice rinks in most Canadian towns, and skating, again, no ice, is even more popular than hockey.
Neither of us are great at skating, to put it mildly, but we have enjoyed getting some fresh air and fun by going down to our local outdoor rink and trying not to fall over too much. It's a great way to get outside, get some exercise, and sample a little bit of real Canadian life, even if we are consistently the worst skaters on the rink. Nobody seems to mind what standard you are, provided you're having fun and enjoying a Canadian tradition.
The other sport which Canada is known for in the winter is skiing. We're both passionate skiers, and we're not the only ones around here. Canada has some of the best skiing on the planet, and the reliably cold temperatures in most of the country mean that snow is virtually guaranteed on most Canadian ski hills.
The biggest hills are in the west of Canada, and the largest resort in the country is Whistler Blackcomb, an enormous ski area which hosted the 2010 Olympics and has over 200 kilometres of groomed runs. Elsewhere, you'll find legendary resorts like Fernie, Kicking Horse, Sunshine Village, Lake Louise and Sun Peaks.
Ironically, Whistler Blackcomb is probably the least snowshore of all the famous resorts in Canada because it's the furthest west, and it can often get spells of mild weather, but it's high enough and the season is long enough that there are good conditions more often than not. Further inland, you're basically guaranteed snow from December until April, but it can be a little chilly in the depths of winter, so wrap up warm for those long chairlift rides.
Cross-country skiing is also really popular in Canada and is practiced across the country. Unlike alpine skiing, it doesn't require there to be any mountains, so even in the flatter parts of the country you'll find cross-country ski clubs, most of which have many kilometres of groomed tracks available to members and visitors alike. Biathlon is also practiced widely in Canada, as is competitive speed skating and, mainly amongst Canadian kids, sledging, or sledding as they call it here. This is also a really popular pastime.
For the more adventurous amongst you, ice climbing is also a popular activity in the Rockies, and if that sounds a bit too much for you, simply driving into the forest with friends, lighting a fire and enjoying the winter environment is also a popular activity amongst snow-loving Canadians. You have to make sure you're doing this legally, so check local regulations before starting a fire in the woods, but if you know where to look, there are some fabulous, peaceful spots in which to enjoy the wilderness in winter.
Aside from outdoor activities, there are a few more practical things to consider when planning for a Canadian winter. Firstly, it's going to snow, and that makes moving around and going about your everyday life pretty tricky. You need to have 2 sets of tyres for your car, one for winter and one for summer, and get them changed over in spring and in autumn.
When the winter tyres are on, you need to have the ability to drive in snow, and you'll be doing some shoveling too if you don't keep your car in a garage. If there's been a big snowfall, you'll need to leave early, not only because digging out your car takes time, but also because you'll be driving more slowly once you're underway and are more likely to be held up because of accidents, which are much more common in winter and can often lead to traffic jams.
One downside of winter, or upside if you love shopping, is that you need a lot of gear to keep you warm. Even in the Vancouver region, the mildest part of Canada, a thick coat, good gloves and very sturdy winter boots are essential. The further north and or east you go, the longer the list of required gear gets. Getting you and your family dressed and ready to face that cold can get a little tedious, but Canada does get good summers, so remember that it's just temporary, and the warmer weather will return.
So, in a nutshell, It's cold and snowy in winter here, but much of southwest British Columbia is pretty mild, so if you can move there, you avoid the toughest of the winter conditions, and even in the colder parts of Canada, there's plenty to do in winter if you're willing to wrap up warm and get involved. If you're not, grab a hot drink, sit by the fire, and wait for summer to come back.
Where's the coldest place you've ever been? Let us know in the comments section, and whether you're a winter lover or not, make sure you ice that subscribe button before you leave.